So when you started receiving the acceptance letters, first of all, talk to me about your decision process, right? Of which school you went to. But before that, what do you think made your application stand out?
Oh, that's a hard question. Truth be told, I think there is a big weight as being a student that had very good grades, kind of had done a bit of everything. I was doing track in high school. I was doing musical theater. I was doing viola playing and singing on top of like the grades on youth and government. There was kind of a full package sense for these universities that he's interested in multiple things and looked for leadership opportunities among those areas.
Yeah.
Because all these schools kind of want to build the leaders of America across any division of our society. So that was interesting to them. And I think also the fact that I was coming from this high school that I mentioned that didn't have such the best reputation, of the area. That made them see kind of, I think, like a diamond in the rough kind of aspect to my application. Because there's a lot of students that come from wealthier areas of the New York area across the country that they just want to pull easily because they know them.
Yeah.
But they always want to get more people, as you said, from the diaspora they don't know about into the fold of like higher education.
Yeah. What was your GPA?
What
GPA does it take to get into an Ivy League?
I think back then, I had a lot of AP classes, right? So normally the scale's out of 4. AP classes get weighted a little bit stronger because they're like college classes. I think it ended up being like 4.3 out of 4 because of that.
Wow.
Which is,
that's just
not the easiest thing to do, but I worked for it.
I also did read that you had quite a very unique college essay. Do you remember what you wrote about? I did.
I do remember the story.
Yeah. What did you write about?
So I wrote a little bit about why I wanted to go into medicine and the long vision for me, which actually is an important story from like who I am.
Yeah.
When I was 7 years old, my dad fainted in the middle of a store. He had a seizure. They brought him to the emergency department. They scanned his brain and found out he had a meningioma, which is a benign but large brain tumor. And they did surgery on him. He did well. And after that, he decided to bring me to Ghana to kind of see what's such a big deal to him. The fact that he had surgery, was treated well, there's no complications afterwards. He brought me to see Kukuruntume, which is where my mother's family is from, near the Volta region. And I saw a family there who, unlike my dad who got quick treatment, they had been sick with diseases for decades. There's no access to healthcare in those parts of the country.
Wow.
Even getting to Accra to get care would take 3 hours if they had a car, and there's no cars there. And that story made me feel like healthcare, is a right. And the fact that not everybody gets it is a wrong of the world. And so I wrote about how that story tied into why I do what I do in terms of pushing myself, doing more in school, and also kind of tied in the parts of my life that are really important to me that maybe quite are not so, not quite as grand, but, my music. That's been a consistent trend of my life, whether it's singing in church as a little boy, to playing viola in the in school symphonies, to a cappella in college.
Wow.
I wrote about how that kind of also motivates me.
Yeah, and you talked a lot about how that also influenced your perspective on leadership, which I thought was really interesting. So do you still practice music? How have you kind of nurtured that passion over the years?
I did the most with my musical career during college. So Yale is famous because it has about 16 a cappella groups. I was in 2 of them.
Wow.
One was called the Society for Orpheus and Bacchus, better known to our parents, professors, and ex-girl and boyfriends as those SOBs. The other one is called the Yale Whiffenpoofs. That one's pretty famous. That latter group, the Whiffenpoofs, took a year off from school between junior and senior year. In that year, we did about 200 concerts, traveled to about 26 states and 27 countries, which is amazing.
Amazing.
And so at that time, I was associate business manager of the group, helping set up public concerts. I brought us to Ghana, met former President Kufuor.
Oh,
it was a whole time.
Wow.
And that was kind of my most invested time with music. Now medical schools has come and gone. There's less time.
Not so much time. Wow. So give us a little a cappella right now. Sorry to put you on the spot, but we got to have it. Give it to us, please.
There's an old man called the Mississippi. That's the old man that I long to be. What does he care if the world's got troubles? What does he care if the land is free.